And while I'm out here, I'm going to pick my Gold Rush apples. This is an apple that is just much loved by growers. It's hard to find an apple that is more enthusiastically endorsed by amateur growers than this. Flavor and keeping disease resistance, you know, I mean, all around, it just gets the highest marks from everybody. For years, I keep letting it sit on the tree because I'm really interested in long hanging apples, but I finally given up on this ripening on the tree. It does not ripen well on the tree. By all accounts, it improves in storage, which I have never actually stored one for a really long time. That's what I'm doing this year. But it doesn't improve hanging on the tree. It starts to crack after the rains, like we've just had some heavy rains, so now it's going to start cracking. So I'm just going to pick the best ones of these, and I'm going to divide them in storage. I'm going to put some in a cool shed, and I'm going to put some in the refrigerator in plastic in like a crisper drawer. Put them in plastic actually just to keep the other refrigerator flavors out of the apples, because that's just like the worst thing, is to bite into an apple that is otherwise great, but it just tastes like everything else that's been in the fridge, right? That's why it's ideal to have like a dedicated fruit fridge. In fact, I wanted to make one. I'm on solar power, so I don't have much power, but I thought about making one out of a chest freezer. People make these hyper efficient refrigerators out of chest freezers because, you know, when you open the door, you don't lose any heat. They're just super efficient. And all you have to do is change the thermostat to a refrigerator thermostat, I think is what they do, unless they just reset the thermostat. But I think you have to just change it. That's not very expensive. I've changed the thermostat in my chest freezer just because it went bad. I'm just going to get all of these that are still good. And this one's kind of sunburned, but it cracked too on the sunburned side. It does get sunburned, I noticed that, but it's productive, it's disease resistant. There's, as far as I know, there's zero scab on this tree. There's just no scab at all. And go look at reviews online. I mean, go look at what people have to say about it. Generally, it's all good. But it also needs to store for a while to be at its best. I probably should have picked this 2 or 3 weeks ago, is my guess. But I'm just going to do it now because here I am. Okay, I got a specimen here that's ripe early because it was damaged by birds or something. So we might get some idea of the flavor. This is a Golden Delicious offspring, and it has a lot of the best qualities of Golden Delicious, but with a much richer flavor, and it definitely has more spice. If you think of Golden Delicious as not a good apple, it actually is a very good apple. You just have to get it, you know, when it's ripe. Yeah, that's actually quite good. Sometimes this has a banana flavor, which I don't like. This is barely has it though. This is actually pretty sweet. It's got a very hard, firm flesh. By all accounts, again, I really haven't stored these long enough to know, but the texture is supposed to hold really well through storage and never go bad. Now, this is another apple that I have used in breeding, and I've crossed it with grenadine at least, and maybe some other stuff. I think, given its amazing disease resistance and its keeping quality, I think it's a great one for home breeders to work with, or even just, you know, take the seeds and plant them, even if you don't make intentional crosses. But intentional crosses with this just seem like a all-around great idea given all of its virtues. So I'm going to put my best ones in storage here and see how they do. Through the year, I had a friend here, we visited this tree, we were walking around the property tasting apples, and we stopped at this one. He's like, oh, Gold Rush. He said, that's the best apple I've ever had. And it was in spring out of storage. The apple he was referring to that his friend grew. For home growers, I would say this should be in your top 10 apples to check out just on reputation alone and obvious disease resistance.